sometimes not an advancement of technology, but just happenstance, we find new discoveries. And I'll give you an example of that. So I had an experiment I wanted to run where I wanted my test subjects to let their vision collapse into about 10 degrees of visual field before they aborted the run. And so I needed to have a projection program done where they had something they could look at out here in the peripheral vision. And so the computer programmer who was going to do that didn't get it done in time for the experiment. And I had subjects scheduled. I said, we're going to press forward. So they said, well, what are you going to do about giving them the those reference points for their vision? I said, we're going to use Post-it notes. And they go, what? I go, that's 0 degree. That's about 10 degree of visual field. So I'm in here someplace. That's probably close enough for what we're doing. So we bring the first subject in and we take them up to G, and I have my yellow Post-it note in the middle. And he comes back down from G and he goes, that was really cool. I said, your vision came into 10 degrees and that was cool? He goes, oh no. He goes, the Post-it note turned blue. The Post-it note turned blue. I said, so we have to push a button when we're talking to the subject. So I looked over at the flight surgeon and I said, he's not on any medication or anything, right? And he goes, no, he's not. I go, so I go back to the subject and I said, so what color blue, if you had to define it? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I was so surprised that it turned blue. He says that I, just didn't pay attention. I said, we're going to take you back up to G and we're going to let you try that same run again. I said, this time I kind of want you to pay attention to see, how you would define that color blue. He says, oh, okay. So we take him back up to G. We come back down. And he said, that was a deep sea blue. And the flight surgeon looks at me and goes, deep sea blue? I go, probably got the big box of crayons as a child. Yeah. I said, well, that's interesting. I said, so that turned blue again the second time. He goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. He goes, and then we came down off of G and it turned yellow.
Ooh.
So we're thinking to ourselves, why did the Post-it note go from yellow to blue and then back to yellow again?